Hello and welcome to helpyourmath.com. In this video, we are going to look at the measures of central tendency with some slightly more challenging calculations than we saw in the straightforward calculations video. Let's get right to it. Just to review the three measures of central tendency that we will be discussing in this video, we have the mean, the median, and the mode. In the last examples, we were able to do the calculations just as is because we didn't have very many values in our data sets. We only had, I think, 9 and 10. But here we're going to look at something that's a much bigger set. There is a shortcut we can take, which is nice. So in this example, there were 39 driver's education tests that each test was 20 questions. And so we have the results. There were 6 people, right? Because we're given the frequency table here. 6 people got 12 questions correct. 1 person had 13, 4 had 14, 7 had 15. And it might help to kind of visualize. So I drew the faces and color coded them in case that helps. So that shows there should be 39 smiley faces. I did not fact check myself, probably a good idea. But I don't want to add up 39 values. We're going to use the definition of multiplication to help us with this. So we know there's 39 because that's been given. And we can also check because we can add up the frequencies and make sure that adds up to 39. So I have 6, 7, 11, 18, 23, 25, 25 plus 14 is 39. Okay, so the frequencies do add up to 39. I feel pretty good about that. But rather than doing 6 12s, right, because all 6 of the red smiley faces got 12 questions correct, we're going to say, well, that's repeated addition, which is multiplication. And we're going to represent these 6 values with 6 times 12. Because what we would be doing is we would be adding 12 6 times, right? There were 6 people who scored 12. That's 12 6 times. Then we're going to add to those 6 12s the 113. So I don't need to say 13 times 1. I can just say 13 because, 13 times 1 is just 13. Plus, there were 4 people who scored 14. So that would be 4 14s. 4 14s. Plus the 7 15s. Plus the 5 16s. Plus the 2 17s. I don't need to include 18 because it's just 18 times 0. So we're going to skip 18. We have 6 19s and we have 8 20s. Okay, so again, I know this is still a lot of work, but it's a lot nicer than doing 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14. So we're going to do this instead, and then we're going to take this and we're going to divide it all by 39. Now, depending on the kind of calculator you have, if you're using like a cell phone calculator that doesn't necessarily follow order of operations, you need to do the multiplications first, write down those values, and then add everything up. If your calculator does have memory, you can just type in the entire numerator. So I'm going to type in the entire numerator first, and let's make sure we agree on that. So again, what I'm typing is 6 times 12 plus 13 plus 4 times 14. I'm doing all of that numerator in the calculator. Okay, so when I added up the 39 values, I got 634. And now what I need to do to find the average is divide by the number of numbers. There should have been 39. I divide by 39 and I get about 16.3. So the average or the mean number of questions answered correctly was 16.3. We do want to make sure that makes sense in the context. Remember, the number of correct answers is what we're looking at, and that ranges from 12 to 20. So 16.3 is pretty close to the center of that. That makes sense. I would buy that. I would believe that that could be accurate. So just to reiterate what I did, because I know this can be really weird, but instead of just adding 6 12s, I did 12 6 times. Instead of adding 4 14s, I multiplied 4 by 14. And that's how I found the average of this larger data set. If you're given a bunch of raw data, and everything is different, let's say it's test scores and the test scores range from 0 to 100 and there's not really consistency. You can put them into classes like we saw in the histogram videos and take the class average, class median for each, class mean for each one. And you can actually use the class mean and then you can categorize it and have fewer categories and a little bit less work. But that's, another exception that's a little bit more difficult. Okay, what about when we have a really large data set and we're trying to find the median? In the last video, I ignored the bold parts, but now I want to take them into account. If there are an odd number of data values, so in the previous video, there were 9, we looked at one with 9, it was 9 rents to apartments, then what we could do to figure out which value is the median is you take the number, which is 9, you're going to add it to 1, 9 plus 1 is 10, and then you divide 10 by 2. So the 5th number in the line, when they're in order from least to greatest, that would be the median. And that way you don't have to do the extremes and cross those out. And the second extremes, cross them out. The third extremes, cross them out. You could just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That 5th one will be the number in the middle. If we're given a data set and there's an even number of elements in the set, then what we do is we take the number. So we looked at 10. We said n equals 10. We would take 10, divide it by 2, and that gives us the 5th element in the set. So we'd be looking at the 5th, but remember there's 2 numbers in the middle when it's even, and the next one would just be the number after that, the ordinal number after that. So after 5th is 6th. And what we'd be looking at is the average of the 5th value and the 6th value. Okay, so we're going to try that with this with these test scores on the driver's exam. What we need in order to do that is we need the cumulative frequencies. And again, I don't have my smiley faces. I thought I did. So recall, to find cumulative frequency, we take the frequency. This time I have it inverted, so it's the column. And then we just keep adding the previous cumulative frequency. So we always start with the number we're given, 6. I'm going to do 1 plus 6, 7. 4 plus 7, 11. 7 plus 11, 18. 5 plus 18, 23. 2 plus 23, 25, 0 plus 25, 25, 6 plus 25, 31, and 8 plus 31, 39. There were 39 scores that we were given, so that last number should be 39. Those should match. I feel good about this. Because there were 39, we're going to go back to the directions here. 39 is odd. We have n equals 39. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 39 and add it to 1. And then we're going to divide by 2. That's 40 divided by 2. So the 20th number, the 20th score will be the median. Here we have the first 6 scores. Here we have the first 7 scores. Here we have the first 11 scores. Here we have the first 18 scores. Then going to the next column, this one will contain the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd. And there it is. What we want is that 20th, because that is the median. The 20th person, if we put these in order, got 16 questions correct. So the median would be 16. And just to use the smiley faces to help us, so I'm going to change the color so we know I'm switching gears here. The smiley faces represent the 39 scores. And these are now in order, right? They go in order from 12 to 20. So if we count the smiley faces, we want to find the 20th smiley face. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There he is, right there, or she. There they are, right there. There's the 20th. And we could count from the other direction too, and that's still going to be the 20th value because that's the number that's in the center. Okay, go back. And what is this smiley face associated with? Getting 16 questions correct. I know this can be weird. I hope it's making sense. But that's what we would do for median. And then if there were an even number of, the frequency was an even number, we would be looking for the 2 in the middle. Okay, and last up, the mode. So we're looking for who got the most number of questions correct. Well, let's go back to our smiley faces. Are there the most smiley faces of the same color? That's over here with that frequency of 8. So 8 people scored 20, which is more than any other frequency. Really want to emphasize we're looking at the frequencies to determine the mode number of correct questions, because the frequencies are the number of people who scored that amount, and then that amount is the number 20 because that was the number associated with the 8. So the mode, in this case, would be 20. And you might be looking at this like, well, I mean, 7 people got 15. That's also a lot. That's true. But the mode is the most. If there were 2 8s, then we would have 2 modes, but this is just 1 mode, and it's a mode of 20. I hope this video makes sense. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, because I actually do check the comments and I will respond if I can clarify in any way, because I know these can be a little bit weird. But these were some kind of more challenging examples of the measures of central tendency. Thank you for stopping by.